Epstein files. That post
We're starting all
by
over
Elon
again.
Musk this afternoon gets at a serious question prompted by MAGA fans, among others, after the Justice Department asserted in a memo that convicted sex offender and multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein did not.
We're restarting the live. They said it was more fake engagement.
Murdered before he was found dead in his jail cell in 2019, and in fact had no client list. Despite the fact that the very same administration officials are now asserting there is no there, many of them were the ones ginning up the controversy before President Trump was reelected and while they were in office. The Justice Department memo, first obtained by Axios, also comes 1 month after the billionaire Tesla founder took to his platform X as his alliance with President Trump dissolved. Quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files."
We're picking up where we left off.
That is the real reason why they have not been made public, unquote. Musk deleted that post 2 days later. But the new memo has Musk posting this meme, among others. It's a guy putting on progressively more clown makeup with the text, "We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk." There is no Epstein list, with full clown regalia. The desk part refers to a February clip. The list is on my desk. A February clip from Fox that was played of Pam Bondi. Take a listen.
I think this is where I was, right?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But here was Attorney General Bondi earlier today.
Right.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
No.
Trump was asked about the memo today by a New York Post reporter, and he expressed indignation.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Wow.
Mr. President, the reason...
Does anyone think it's unbelievable that Donald Trump is acting like he's pro P3DO and perhaps he could be in the files? This is probably why he's behaving like this. Does anyone find it kind of odd that all of a sudden they've gone from we have them and the files are on my desk to, why are we even still talking about this? It's almost like Donald Trump thinks he thinks we're like his supporters. And you know what he thinks about his supporters, right?
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Yeah. And so this Epstein thing it's not going away, MAGA.
Are talking about this guy is because people serving in the highest levels of your administration have been talking about this guy for years.
Yeah.
And talking about how the Epstein list needs to be released. Here's then Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance in October 2024.
Oh.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
J.D. Vance.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Here's Kash Patel on a podcast just over a year before he became FBI director.
Go ahead.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Oh.
Dan Bongino, a former Secret Service agent turned right-wing podcaster, is now the FBI deputy director. Here he is on his show in February. He was named deputy director just a few weeks later.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go, ever. Ever.
Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton's spokesperson released a statement in 2019 saying that the former president, quote, knows nothing about the terrible crimes. We should note the presence of one's name in the files does not mean they were involved in any way in sex trafficking or having sex with any of Epstein's victims. Here's Alina Habba, now interim U.S. attorney for New Jersey. This is her in February.
Is it true that eating eggs can cause type 2?
No, that's not. That's a little bit of a commercial. We'll get back to Alina Habba real quick.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
No.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking.
Yeah. I'm shocked that none of that's been released. In February this year, Attorney General Bondi teased the imminent arrival of the Epstein files, and President Trump's eldest son, Don Jr., posted about the news, quote, LFG, an acronym for Let's Effing Go.
Oh, Don Jr.? Wait. Didn't we have Don Jr. on record, ladies and gentlemen? Listen.
I'm fine with all the other lists. As long as I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right? Speaking of which, how is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, bro?
That's Don Jr.
It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
You hear that? You hear that, Snuggie? That's Don Jr. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, you know? It's like they're trying to protect somebody. Who's trying to do the protection? Well, you can't say it's Joe Biden. No, because Joe Biden, he's fighting for his life. He's got prostate cancer. No, Donald Trump and Pam Bondi, there's just, to me, I just can't quite put my finger on why they're hiding and what are they trying to protect all of a sudden. See, I didn't care about all of this initially, but they made such a big deal out of it that at this point, I want to get to the bottom of it too. Y'all made this the issue. You made this the issue. So don't ever, and this is this. Don't ever ask me why Joe Biden didn't even release the information at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care at this point why Joe Biden didn't do it. This was never something President Biden campaigned on and created all of this chaos out on the internet about. This was not his thing. This is Donald Trump's issue. And it's 100% on him to do and release this information because he promised he would do it. Yeah. Oh, they found Hunter Biden's laptop. Isn't that something? Y'all found Hunter Biden's laptop, but y'all couldn't find this country, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I say God's judgment is truly upon us. I mean, especially out there in Texas. And you heard what happened in Texas. They said there's 107, and I don't even want to get into the politics of it. But if you look at that situation in Texas, I said this, and I'm going to say this to Blaga. Y'all better be careful because they're going to blame somebody black. I thought about this. They're going to try to blame somebody black for the flooding that happened in Texas because they need a scapegoat. And so to all of you out there, the Blaga out there, just watch. They're going to blame you for that one way or another. I've seen some signs of that, right? I've seen the signs. They're already trying to find someone to blame. And guess who they're going to blame? Blaga. W. Zeus. That was an easy one. That was an easy one to figure out because I see what's going on. So Don Jr. already made it clear this is an issue. This is what Laura Loomer says, ladies and gentlemen. And I totally despise Laura Loomer, but we're gonna get this on the record because we got to let this also be part of the picture we paint. And she's totally MAGA. She goes, Pam Blondie. She doesn't even call her Bondi. She calls her Blondie. Is covering up child S crimes that took place under her watch when she was the Attorney General in Florida. During Blondie's tenure as Florida's Attorney General from 2011 to 2019, Jeffrey E.'s flight logs, they surfaced. Many of his victims filed lawsuits and substantial new evidence against him came to light. It has been asked, how come Blondie's Florida Attorney General's office did not pursue legal action or launch an investigation into Epstein's activities in Florida during that period when she was the Attorney General? She's afraid that she's afraid of that being discussed and being brought to the light. She needs to be fired. She has tainted the investigation. So now I understand. I understand now why Donald Trump picked Pam Blondie to be his Attorney General. He needs someone to go in there and cover this stuff up. Wow, MAGA, you can't see it. You can't see it. But this is a sign that this country is on a serious decline. And Pam Blondie, she's not the only person that's MAGA that is now starting to get out of the cult. And I did a video about this, but I need to go ahead and get it in. I need to also speak on it. Right now, there's a woman on X, and I posted it on my other account. You can go check it out. Her name is Trisha Hope. You got to go check this out, ladies and gentlemen. And I said I got to read this. I got to read this story onto the kingdom because this is when I said, the will of MAGA is ultimately going to have to snap in order for this great country of ours to honestly, ladies and gentlemen, get on the right path. All right. And so this story is by Trisha Hope, ladies and gentlemen, who supported Donald Trump. And boy, oh boy, her her story, ladies and gentlemen. You won't believe this. She says, and you could go find her on X. I have been, and I hope all the Russian bears, because you know the Russian bears, they're shadow watching me. Snuggie, I hope you're listening to it. And I hope you all of you so-called Christians, y'all listen to this story, because I'm going to go ahead and discuss it. This is what she says, I have been to 42 Trump rallies. After the first impeachment, I drove to Washington, D.C. and spent 2 weeks walking the halls of Congress to encourage Republicans to support President Trump. I sat in the hearings and I supported President Trump. I was there the night he was acquitted. After the 2020 election was stolen, I went to see 2,000 mules. I was livid at the lack of action. This is a Trump supporter saying this, by the way. Or I should say a former Trump supporter, right? I contacted Dinesh D'Souza and told him I wanted to deliver copies to Republican members of Congress. They donated 200 copies. I went with a team of 4 to D.C. and I personally hand-delivered each one. When it became clear that January 6th was a setup, I started helping the J6ers. I met with members of Congress on their behalf. I was able to get donations of 435 American Gulag Chronicle books to deliver to Congress. Myself and a team organized by Trumpetarians delivered 535 copies to every single member of the House and Senate. I worked for the last three and a half years to help free the J6ers. I organized Trump events. I became a state delegate and then a national delegate. I recently made donations to the Smithsonian in honor of the J6ers. I say all of this to tell you I am done. This is what she says. This is President Trump's lack of concern for the Epstein victims and his callous response to the reporters' questions ends my relationship with him. I will not support a man who denies justice to the victims, who in this case are children's, and mocks the question. Let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in for a second. You can't have a resume like this. This is somebody who's really in the cult. Way more in the cult than you, Snuggles. And you Russian bears. Way more in the cult than you. And even, because I could read this and I'm listening, I'm like, 2,000 mules? You the J6 is like, ma'am, seriously? You should have already known all of this about Donald Trump. But apparently, the way that Donald Trump reacted yesterday when he was asked a question about this, it sent chills down her spine, because at that moment, you can't say that Donald Trump didn't sound guilty as hell. When he snapped at the reporter trying to get justice for the kids, he snapped at the reporter. What? And you could go read this. You could go read anything that she's put on her profile. She's standing on business. I thought she was going to flip. No, she's not flipping. As a matter of fact, I'll give you some more what she said. She says, I voted for this man 3 times. I campaigned for him. I worked and I got to keep it clean, but her rear end. I worked my rear end off, and I feel like I don't even recognize him at all. This is sickening. This is why I say to you, Trump supporters, anybody still supporting him? Anybody out there still supports Donald Trump after seeing this right here? This is somebody that's this is like a high-ranking official in the MAGA cult saying, I gotta leave. Anybody out there still supporting Donald Trump? I figured you would. I'm not going to let this. We can't let this stuff go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is sick.
The Trump administration invited a slew of conservative MAGA influencers to the White House, purporting to give them a first look at a batch of documents labeled the Epstein Files, Phase 1. But None of it was a smoking gun. The vast majority of the information had already been made publicly available. CNN's Evan Perez reported in March that Attorney General Bondi directed FBI agents, in some cases, to drop their work on China and Iran and focus on redacting the files before their release. Remember, Trump made part of this his platform. Here he is during the 2024 campaign.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Whose lives doesn't he want to affect? MAGA? Whose lives? You don't think those children deserve justice, MAGA? All of a sudden? Don't talk to me about you're pro-life. Don't tell me you care about kids. You don't. You're pro P3DO, MAGA.
So what's really going on here? I mean, what's really going on? Well, experts such as our friend Julie Brown from the Miami Herald, who's been covering Epstein for years, say that the notion of Epstein having an easy-to-access client list is likely a red herring. And that's what the Trump administration is relying on, that there likely isn't a list per se. But they are also now relying on the fact that because it's MAGA influencers who often put forward so many falsehoods, legacy news media won't push the point.
Okay.
That while there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Now, sure, of course, redact the names and identifying characteristics of the victims. But why not make the victim testimonies public?
Yeah.
As Julie Brown points out, there's still so much we don't know from the investigations by U.S. attorneys in Miami and in New York, witness interviews in the U.S. Virgin Islands and New Mexico. Brown writes that there's still more evidence that hasn't been published, including, quote, Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has been made public. So while there may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public, despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed. This isn't going to go away.
No. It's not going to go away, MAGA. You make your bed, you gotta sleep in it. Do not bring up President Biden. Do not bring up the Democrats. And then don't try to sit out here and say, oh, there's nothing there. No. There wouldn't be, Ghislaine Maxwell, she wouldn't be locked up if there wasn't anything there. Okay? Y'all got to stop acting like but you never mind. I'll let Tucker Carlson say what he needs to say.
I have a videotape of kids getting abused. I followed this case closely, and I know a lot of the people involved, as I told you. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. I didn't know that. Really? Thousands of children got raped?
Wow.
Who raped them? Where are the rapists? Like, why aren't they in jail? This is the Department of Justice.
Yes.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I just think it's very dangerous to play around with this stuff. Like, very dangerous.
Well,
I don't want a revolution, but if you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act.
All right, Jamal, what do you think hearing that from Tucker?
Well, first of all, Tucker is being dangerous by alluding to something like a revolution when we're talking about the MAGA people, because we know that MAGA forces have been willing to use violence in pursuit of their political aims. We saw it on January 6th. Gretchen said something a second ago about is Trump covering for Pam Bondi. But the question also may be, is Pam Bondi covering for Trump?
You hear that? It's Pam Bondi covering for Trump. That's why he picked her. Remember, she didn't do anything with Jeffrey E. when he was in Florida. And Donald Trump knew he was lying to his supporters his entire campaign about releasing that. And so he needed to bring in a loyal lapdog, so to speak, that he knew would suppress the information and keep it hidden because he doesn't care about the kids. As a matter of fact, he doesn't care about the kids. You're completely biased unless it's been... Oh, Miss P? Come on up here, Miss P. You think I'm biased? Come on up here. Explain how I'm biased because I'm looking after helping to look after the children. Miss P, I sent you an invite. She voted for an essayer. Yep. She voted for a P3DO, Miss P. That's what that P in your name stands for, Miss P3DO. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, ladies and gentlemen, we get a little bit of a surprise this morning. Her connection seems to be having seen better days. Ms. P. Ms. P. What's going on? How come it's not patching you through? It's taking heck. It shows that it's buffering. Someone wrote FEMA Wi-Fi. Okay, it could be MAGA Wi-Fi. It could be FEMA Wi-Fi. Ms. B, what I'll do is I'll give you a few more seconds. And then I'm going to drop you down, all right? Because I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, your connection doesn't work. But you could totally say stuff that, she's, Miss P, you want to send Big Zeus a guest request? Does anybody want to, before I move on to my next topic real quick, does anybody disagree with what I'm saying? You can send me a guest request. I'll address it right now. I'll send it. You disagree with me? Just put a 1 in the chat if you disagree with Big Zeus. Ms. P, where did you go? She's busy with customers. Yeah. Dead stroke. Okay. Dead stroke. Come on up here. You want me to? I've already answered the question about President Biden. Did you vote for Donald Trump, Dead stroke? Because depending on if you voted for Trump or not, my response is going to be a little different. Jeez. Well, we got another situation where the buffering is an issue. Dead stroke. All right. I guess I can't bring you up. You could try to send me a guest request again, Dead stroke. Dead stroke. I just said earlier, I don't want anybody asking me about what Joe Biden could, should, or would have done. Joe Biden never, ever ran a campaign on releasing the Epstein files. He never had all of his people on the internet and working in government saying that they would release it. He never went on the Fox News and said he would do it. So this isn't Joe Biden's issue. This is 110% MAGA's issue. So this show is about making sure I hold MAGA accountable, not President Biden. We got other issues in the Democrat Party, all right, that we're working on. Not that, all right? So does anybody out there want to come up here and defend Donald Trump not releasing the files real quick? Because I don't mind showing the world who the real predators are, who the real P3DOs. Anybody that gets into my box and tries to defend Donald Trump, I want you to already know I've already won. I've already won because you can't defend it. That's the thing. You can't defend this stuff unless you yourself are willing to say, I am a P3DO. I support P3DO. That's why I say you're not pro-life. You're pro-P3DO. MAGA means pro-P3DO. Now that's what they got to live with that. Just like I thought, Miss P, you went and found something else to do.
We just really don't know. Donald Trump has been very forceful. He's a great television performer. When the question of Epstein comes up, every time he dissembles, he attacks the reporter. Remember before, he'll release the UFO files. He'll release the JFK files. Will you release the Epstein files? Well, I don't know if we should, do that. Innocent people may get wrapped up in that. I just think something's going on here. We got to keep asking the questions until we find out what's really happening, and they should just release the files.
Okay, we got Dead Stroke back, ladies and gentlemen. Dead stroke, something's wrong with your internet. Seriously, what's going on out there, ladies and gentlemen? The internet connection maybe it's me, I don't know. He decided I'm going to send Big Zeus a guest request. All right, well, listen, we're going to let that do what it does, Dead Stroke, but I hope you learned your lesson, all right? W Zeus, ladies and gentlemen. Dead Stroke, something's wrong with your Wi-Fi. Satanic Wi-Fi. Yeah. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. The other issues. Dead stroke. I don't know what's going on with your connection. Let me see. It could be mine. Let me see if it could be me. Hold on. Do we have a connection here? J.D. Porter. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It could be me. It could be me. Let's see. Oops. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah, it could be me. Wow. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you all can hear me and see me, but for some reason, ladies and gentlemen, I can't bring people up. Let me try you, Val. Val, normally, you don't see any boxes? Okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't see any boxes either. Hold on, let me relaunch. Wow, TikTok is giving me the blues this morning. I see you, Val, but you don't see me. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. This is wow, TikTok is giving me the blues this morning. I see you, Val, but you don't see me. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. This is all right. We'll try this again. I've relaunched the. Uh-oh. Are you there, Val?
Yes.
Okay, so it
was wild. I could see you. I was up on the screen like normal, but you were completely froze.
Wow. Well, it was me. Well, how are you doing, brother?
Good. I just came up here to be the test dummy.
Thank you. Well, listen, you're not the dummy, but what that means is Miss P and the other knucklehead, they can come up here now, all right? Yeah. But then I might bring you back, all right, Val, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, you brought him up, Ange? Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now, well, who was that? Who was the person that I saw the other time? The sound is different. Can you hear me? Wow, technical difficulty. No, my app is 110% pure updated. All right, seriously. Okay, Deadstroke. Let me see if Deadstroke will work. All right, Deadstroke, are you there?
Why do I have to be the other knucklehead?
Well, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I didn't. That wasn't my question. My question was originally I was asking why he didn't invite and deliver it. Hey, I agree with you 99% of the time.
Oh, well, because I got a different answer depending on what your vote was. That's how I operate now.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So we got, I say this, Joe Biden never, ever made this something a part of his campaign. So this was not his problem.
I get that. But do you think he saw that?
No. See, what you got to do is you got to stop giving MAGA a way out, right? When they see us doing that, they go, oh, okay, we got something.
Drop me back down.
Thank you, brother. I get you. Thank you. We can talk about it offline.
All right, fair enough.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, seriously, because you brought up a very valid point, but we'll talk about that offline. W. Zeus. What I want is for MAGA to own their problems that they've created for themselves. All right, seriously, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now, where's the other person, Miss P, Miss P3DO supporter? Where did she go? Is she there, Miss P3DO? Go ahead, send Big Zeus a guest request. I got you this time. I seriously got you this time. Okay, I don't see them anymore. All right, I thought so. Let's finish up this part of the show.
Right. That seems to be the point, Gretchen. At this point, and this is something that has been spun up, right, by some of the very people who are now saying, when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino came out recently and tried to downplay the Epstein files, they were eviscerated by the MAGA base, right? And now this is putting the whole thing on steroids. Far-right activist Laura Luma, Gretchen, we know Trump listens to her. She has been hammering Pam Bondi on social media. She posted, how come we can't talk about what a dumb, lying bimbo Pam Bondi is? JD Vance, please encourage President Trump to fire Pam Bondi. Oh. She's a disgrace. So what do you hear when you hear this? Look, Laura Loomer, we know, has had very specific, tangible influence on Trump on big decisions.
Yes, in national security, specifically in the last few months. I do think she has Trump's ear. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Trump seemed to be protecting Bondi today. But I think one other really important point is in this second administration, we have seen a lot of MAGA supporters of Trump come out and be totally against him on really big issues. And what I think is fascinating is that he can go after people who are in groups, like lawyers, like members of Congress. I'll primary you if you don't agree with me. But with these single influencers, he's not doing that. And I think that raises a huge question about whether or not he has the power to actually silence them.
Right, and Jamal, I guess the whole question is there really no there, or is the question who is covering up for whom?
That is the question. Listen, what is sobering is that Donald Trump, if this were normal times, Donald Trump, he's turned around on Ukraine, and there are people in MAGA who are upset about that. He was in this relationship with Elon Musk, who's now turned on him, who wants to start a party, and so that could maybe peel off people. Now we've got the Epstein files, or all these things that would normally take down a regular politician. Donald Trump seems to be able to survive these things. I mean, he's such a political force, it doesn't really matter. But what does happen is the people around him are the ones who catch the brick. And so the question for Pam Bondi is this going to limit her ability to either be an effective attorney general or to even keep her job as attorney general?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, that's the whole Epstein angle. And then what I'll do is this, and we'll get this on the record, and then we'll go straight to Lake of Fire. This is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, where Donald Trump, pretty much, as far as I am concerned, he pretty much admits that the reason he won't release it is because he's in those files. So let's go ahead and get this on the record, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't take long to do it. All right, if we can do it. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. Hold on. Look at that. We're having, wow, what a morning. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can get it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Seen no demon, no ghost, no magic till now.
Hold on one quick second. See, they do the technical difficulty.
Still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
So what he did, ladies and gentlemen, was he used the children, the innocent children, once again, to try to avoid living up to what he promised, which is he was going to release those Epstein files. And so what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and warm up the Lake of Fire. This is for you, Vargas. You think you got something? I'm not going to bring that up. For all of you out there that are still supporting Donald J. Trump, you're no longer, you don't have any credibility. You're not pro-life, you're pro-P3DO. Do me a huge, huge favor and go straight to there.
Silence, you knocker, Damon.
All the technical difficulties that come with what I'm doing, and we still made it to the place. W. Rick. The other issue. So you don't care about kids, and then another issue now is you don't think it. You don't even care about whether or not we have a country, ladies and gentlemen. This means we got to go talk about what happened yesterday in the White House when Donald Trump found out that his Secretary of No Defense, Pete Kegsbreath, is basically sabotaging the entire Trump administration and his foreign policy when it comes to dealing with, Russia and Ukraine situation. We're starting to understand why he can't end the war in 24 hours. And and a lot of it has to do with the fact that not only is Donald Trump incompetent, but the people he's surrounded himself with are also equally, actually, I don't know who's worse, but they're all completely incompetent, and they're continuing to put American lives and our allies' lives at risk. And I'll let Lawrence O'Donnell explain it to you. It doesn't take long.
The possibility of a relentlessly stupid person becoming president of the United States has been underexplored by screenwriters. And then Donald Trump came along and went far beyond what Hollywood could ever imagine in the presidency. Prior to Donald Trump, the challenge for screenwriters and fiction writers would have been, first of all, how can a profoundly stupid person be elected president of the United States? And then, How could a profoundly stupid person get through a day on the job as president? The fictional president, played brilliantly by Martin Sheen on NBC's Emmy-winning series The West Wing, was a wise and carefully thoughtful president for whom I wrote several episode scripts over 7 years of that series. And if I were writing the character of a stupid president in a script, I would simply have had the stupid president completely rely on a smart White House staff and a smart cabinet and just hide behind those people.
Yeah.
And absolutely, and I mean absolutely, never talk to the press.
Right.
Because a stupid president's stupidity would be immediately exposed by the White House press corps. And on that point, I would have been very wrong, because it turns out the stupidest presidency in American history has the stupidest White House press corps in American history, as far as we can tell. And the press corps have become accessories, as they proved again today.
Here it goes.
No one could have imagined that if we get the stupidest president in history, we would also get the stupidest White House press corps collectively in history. But that is where we are. Some individual members of the White House press corps, and I want to stress this, remain excellent at their jobs. But they frequently don't get to ask Donald Trump a question in the elbow-to-elbow question competition that occurs when Donald Trump invites them into the Oval Office, or, as it was today, in the cabinet room.
Uh-oh.
It was the first time the Trump cabinet has met since Elon Musk left his position that wasn't actually a cabinet position, but that granted him a seat at the table in Trump cabinet meetings, absurdly, which those Trump cabinet meetings have consistently been the most ridiculous cabinet meetings in the history of the cabinet. Today, Donald Trump's accessories were allowed into the room to ask some questions. The White House press corps have become accessories in more than one sense. There is the criminal law concept of accessories, and there is the fashion notion of accessories. Donald Trump turns White House reporters into both versions of that word.
Go ahead,
accessories.
Lawrence. Go ahead.
He treats them like handbags or cufflinks, ornaments that he flashes around to pretend, and only pretend, that he is openly communicating about what he is doing in his workday, when he never really answers questions. And so that is never true.
Right.
And Donald Trump uses the press corps as accessories before and after the fact of his lies. Donald Trump uses White House reporters to evade questions asked by other White House reporters. He plays them for clowns.
Clowns.
And they have no idea how to resist it. And I have to admit, if I were in the White House press corps, I'm not sure I would figure out how to resist it, except to maybe yell out some question about Donald Trump lying about something, and then I wouldn't be in the White House press corps anymore. I would be shown out the door, and that would be the end of that.
Right.
There was a moment in Donald Trump's playing with the press today that shows everything all at once. It shows Donald Trump's colossal stupidity in an exchange that he thinks shows how clever he is.
No.
Imagine how stupid you have to be as President of the United States to think that when asked a question about something important that you're supposed to know, your answer is, I don't know, why don't you tell me? There have been previous presidents who have been asked questions that they didn't know the answer to,
right,
which they should have known the answer to, and not one of them said, I don't know, why don't you tell me? Because none of them are as stupid as Donald Trump. Only Donald Trump could do that. And only Donald Trump has been able to beat down and humiliate White House reporters to the point where they take that for an answer meekly and shut up, which is exactly what happened today. When that White House reporter took that answer meekly, tried to mumble a follow-up, another White House reporter beside her immediately jumped in, performing his role as an accessory after the fact of Donald Trump's stupidity, to offer Donald Trump a complete change of subject.
Wow.
A completely different question, to run away from the question to which his idiotic answer was, I don't know, why don't you tell me? And the reporter who he asked, why don't you tell me, began to follow up. But the other White House reporter came in to rescue Donald Trump. And all of that happens in one flash in the cabinet room today. And not a single White House reporter is outraged.
Wow.
Not a single White House reporter raised a voice.
Get him, Lawrence.
And the White House reporter who got Donald Trump to say, I don't know, why don't you tell me, is the very same White House reporter who was always congratulated for being very aggressive, and that's the term they're always proud of, very aggressive with President Joe Biden. She never would have allowed Joe Biden to say to her, why don't you tell me, without an aggressive and very loud response to that, a raised voice, aggressive response to that. But it's Donald Trump now. And so the White House press corps has changed its own rules of behavior in order to continue to be allowed in the Trump White House. They're not allowed to do their jobs in the Trump White House, but they are allowed to be there, which apparently is all that matters to most of them, who have exhibited no shame whatsoever in the diminution of their status, their reduction to accessories by Donald Trump. Here is that moment when everything all at once happened today.
Hello, Mark Barr.
Here they go. You know what they did. Hold on.
Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
I think that's a question for the
Go ahead.
As far as on immigration, the Secretary of the Agriculture did say this morning that undocumented workers would not be covered by an amnesty who are working on farms.
And we were off to immigration. Donald Trump obviously thought he was being very clever with the why don't you tell me, wise guy question. There is not another president in our history who would think there was anything clever about that, because there isn't. It was a confident version of Donald Trump's rank stupidity. Why don't you tell me?
Rank stupidity.
Donald Trump thinking he's showing how tough and defiant he is of reporters with that response. Who ordered the pause of weapon shipments to Ukraine last week was actually the best question asked in the cabinet room today.
It was.
And it figured into CNN reporting tonight about the paused arms shipment. CNN reports Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth did not inform the White House before he authorized a pause on weapons shipments to Ukraine last week, according to 5 sources familiar with the matter.
And I'm going to stop there. So, the President of the United States, not only is he covering up for all the P3DOs out there, but he has a Secretary of No Defense that's doing things with our military behind his back, and he doesn't even know it. And so he's now taking out his anger and his frustration on reporters who, these were the same reporters that held all the smoke for President Biden, but all of a sudden this con artist, this criminal-like individual gets in there, and these people all of a sudden fall in line. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no choice, ladies and gentlemen. We got another appeal. You know what? We're going to keep rocking. We have no choice, ladies and gentlemen, but to continue. Let's go ahead and warm up this lake of fire. Obviously, MAGA is getting so triggered this morning because we're telling the truth, and we're calling them out for being a bunch of liars and hypocrites. And unfortunately, there's nothing else to do, because guess what? These are nothing but prime candidates for hell. So let's go ahead and send all of these pro-P3DOs and these incompetent people who are still supporting Donald Trump where they came from, straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA
W Zeus. All right. What a show. I mean, oh my gosh, so many speed bumps, so many road bumps this morning. Oh my goodness. Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I've totally annihilated MAGA this morning. These folks can barely speak. They can barely talk. They don't have much to contribute. And it is now time to hear from the wonderful people who tune in every morning. Seriously. Where are the Trump supporters at? Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter, and what I'll do is I'll bring you up, and then we'll get you Well, what I'll do is I'll cast the demon out of you and then send you on your way. All right. You ever seen those shows on TV? You know, they lay their hands on them and then yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Come on up here, MAGA, and let Big Zeus cast that MAGA demon out. Just put a 1 in the chat. Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom. No, you have not done the homework I instructed you to do. All right. You didn't do it. I asked you, first of all, change the way you're living, all right? I don't want to see you in those tank tops because nobody likes you, all right, W. Zeus. Silver Soul 7, you're a Trump supporter? Interesting. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're a MAGA. All right, let's see. All right, or we can keep the blue wall going because lately it's been nothing but a blue wall over here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm starting to understand. Like I read to you that story about Trisha Hope. She said, "Oh, this is a bridge too far," and she's running from the cult. We will be seeing more stories like that, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse in the cult because, oh, you're a Harris supporter. All right, thank you. I saw you put a 1 in the chat. All right, and so maybe I thought maybe you were. All right, who T Bandit 1994? Good morning. How are you? Oh, my connection works. Wow, what a show. T Bandit, how can I help you?
Oh, I didn't mean to join. I'm so sorry. Can you drop me?
Yes, I can. All right. That's another one. Easy. All right. Let's go. Miss V86. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Miss V. How are you?
Ooh, I wasn't trying to come up. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We're having an interesting morning. Good morning, Bamba. How are you doing? Long time no see. Bamba, are you there? Uh-oh. Appeal not approved. Well, oh my gosh. I guess I've been a bad boy this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bamba, are you there? Uh-oh. We're having issues. Whoa. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll bring up, I don't know. Val, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, well, let's go. I don't know what that was. I'm just going to assume it's a rough day at the office. I got to say, that's what it is. I'm rocking and rolling, cooking and booking, and then the thing is just acting up.
It's like a day in the Trump administration. No one's talking.
Spot on. Oh my goodness. Well, am I making them upset or something? You just have to ask yourself, why do these folks not want to hear what we're talking about, especially if they think we're losing?
Well, with everything that's going on in the world today, right, and all the stories we have to keep up with and everything that's happening, there's stories that go by. If it wasn't for a smart reporter asking the question about the Ukraine shipments, the American people would have never known that was happening.
Wow.
And so now, but to me, I look at this a little bit differently. We yet have another confirmation that Trump has no control over his cabinet and what they do. These are you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people, this has been obvious from the beginning. If y'all think the Trump administration has put together in these policies, the big beautiful bill, the things that they keep putting up, the executive orders that he keeps signing, you have lost your mind. These things are coming directly from the Heritage Foundation. It wouldn't shock me that through back channels that they have, because over 50% of his cabinet belongs to the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if somebody said, "Oh, no, we need to slow those shipments down to Ukraine. We need to do something to to kind of mess with that over there a little bit," because that's what they do. And here we go again. He has no clue.
Wow. He has no clue what he's doing.
We've got an actual puppet in the White House. And that's, this is the things that we warned about from the beginning. Y'all said Project 2025 ain't real. Well,
yeah,
it's pretty damn real.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but you talk about Medicaid, Medicare, and all the things that that are getting hammered in this bill that came, that passed, and
yeah,
well, it's funny. All those things exist in Project 2025. Wow.
Yeah, and so would you say this is actually self-inflicted because they would always say we voted for this. Do you think they're still happy and proudly saying that
It's the funniest thing, like every MAGA supporter out there. It's the funniest thing. No, he doesn't belong to Project 2025. We don't agree with that. That's crazy. That's conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? We've heard it all, right?
Yeah, ain't that something?
Now it's what you voted for.
Yeah.
Holy cow, are you kidding me?
This is why I think it's very important we continue to highlight these things, because as much as they want to bring up President Biden, I think it's very important that we remind them that they voted for stuff like this, right? I mean, in the impact of the big beautiful bill. What do you think is going to be one of the most harmful things that MAGA deals with? Because you see folks like Tiny Tank Top Tim in the chat driving around in a 2016 something, barely runs. He's struggling already to make ends meet. And then this big, beautiful bill passes. What is going to happen to him, do you think?
Well, I'm not going to use him for example because I hate using individuals like that. But his life.
You're so nice, Val. You're nice. I got to give it to you.
His life's his own making, right?
Yeah.
We all know where that leads. We all know who this man is.
Crime. He's going to be committing crime.
Right. We all know. Yeah, we all know who this man is. But the thing is this: when you vote for things, like this bill, and you say this is what you voted for, the people that are going to get the hurt worst in this deal are children. Our grandchildren. These are the people that are going to get hurt worse in this deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As we start saying that we don't care about the disabled, or we don't care about we don't care about people of, we don't care about people of age that are in, homes and, trying to just take care of themselves and just trying to live another day.
Yeah.
We don't care about those people, but in the end, that is going to affect the children, because you don't care about maternal death rates going up. You don't care about infant death rates going up. These are the things y'all do not seem to care about.
Isn't that something?
You don't care about feeding the children. Claim pro-life, but don't want to feed them.
Bingo.
Okay, these are the things that it's going to affect. In the end, it will be the children. The children will pay for our bad deeds.
The ones they claim that they want to protect. Ain't that something? This is why I think that things are happening, because we're only 6 months in. And it just seems like the country is on a serious decline. I mean, you hear more news about the flooding out in Texas. I saw a little bit, but the governor, Greg Abbott, and they're out there saying there's over 170.
170, and I still don't think that number's done. And I talked about this the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Monday I talked about this, and on Monday I tried to explain to everybody that these little small, you know what I'm saying? What was it, 28 in the beginning?
Yeah.
And this little small number of 28 is not going to be the case. And I knew this wasn't going to be the case because we're talking about a town that literally doubles in size during July 4th. The population doubles on July 4th. Okay, this is a very popular place for people to go camping, take their motorhomes. You know what I'm saying? Do all the things. It's a very popular 4th of July destination. And with any kind of destination spot like that, we really don't know how many people were there. The only way you know people were there is because people are calling in going, hey, I had family there, and that adds to the number. I had family there, it adds to the number. But then the recovery starts, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. The recovery starts.
Wow.
And these numbers start climbing and massive because we really have no way of knowing how many people were actually there. This is going to be well over 200 before it's all said and done. It's going to be one of the worst tragedies in the state of Texas when it's all said and done. And the craziest part about this,
what's that?
The most despicable part about this is it was all preventable.
You know, I believe it or not, there are still folks who are saying this is the Democrats' fault.
Democrats' fault? How did Democrats have anything to do with this? And I'm not big on, and I'm not big on the politicization of this, but it was political measures that made this possible. I need everybody to remember that. When you say don't politicize this, remember it was political measures that made this tragedy possible.
And let's unpack that for a second, because when you say that it was political measures, how do you translate that to the common American out there that may not, be able to fully grasp how this is?
We don't have people in positions that were normally in positions to say, hey, this is what's going on. We need to get together with, our communities, and we need to let them know what's coming. And we need to pull everybody out. Those methods that were in place for years and years and years suddenly changed. Okay. Why'd they change? Because people lost their jobs in important places of protecting the people.
And how did they lose their jobs?
That would be Donald J. Trump and Doge cutting those jobs.
The waste, fraud, and abuse angle.
Right. Yeah, the waste, fraud, and abuse.
Okay.
But they lost their jobs.
See?
Now, did NOAA do its part of knowing the storm was coming? Yes. Did they go a different route to inform? Apparently, yes. They informed, not necessarily the governor, but the lieutenant governor of the state definitely knew, because he talked about it in a press conference right after it happened. And then made an excuse for it, which was even more disgusting. So they said, hey, but where does the lieutenant governor go after that? Well, obviously nowhere, since his statement was during that press conference, we hear these things all the time, but it's only usually 3 to 6 inches worth of water. That was his statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Where NOAA and the National Weather Service would have put that together, would have informed the local communities that were going to be affected. And then the local communities could have made their decisions from there. That never happened. We've all heard the mayor of the town twice now say he was never informed this was coming.
Wow.
This was the breakdown of people not being in places they used to be. These are the kind of things we're going to see. And it's not just going to happen in Texas. Okay, these are the breakdowns of things we're going to see because people are not in places they should be to inform the people and protect the people from imminent danger.
Val, he's breaking it down. It was preventable. And then they said there weren't any air sirens. I am aware there's a flood in New Mexico as well. There's flooding in New Mexico. So to your point, Val, what we're finding is that perhaps it wasn't a good idea to cut funding to these agencies and limit how much FEMA could do. Is that kind of the consensus? Because what I don't want to have to go through again, and this is why sometimes we stay on these issues a little bit too long, but if we could prevent this from happening again, then I think we should take those steps to do it, right?
I mean, yeah, and there's natural disasters we can't control, right? But this one was actually foreseen. NOAA had put the information to the lieutenant governor of the state. This is what's coming.
Yeah.
They chose not to listen to it, okay, and do what they were supposed to do. But although that would not be, this is what I want to make clear, that would not be the normal route.
Yeah.
They would inform the governor and lieutenant governor, but at that same time, there would also be people in place that would inform the local governments of what's going on. That never happened.
Wow. Let me see something. There was something that was shared with me. Hold on. Have you heard of this? This guy, Austin Fire Association says Fire Chief Baker denied pre-deployment to Kerrville 2 days before the flood, and he's a black guy. Did you heard about this?
No, I hadn't heard this story.
See, because this is, a MAGA demon sent this to me. And they're basically saying Donald Trump isn't responsible. Fire chief in Austin, Texas, has been accused of not deploying firefighters to help those who were being impacted by the flooding that took place on July 4th. Austin Fire Chief Joel G. Baker is accused of issuing a standing order on June 6th that prevented Austin firefighters from deploying to assist those working to rescue people during the catastrophic 4th of July flooding in Central Texas, per Austin Monitor. So you haven't heard this, but
No,
I looked at it.
Craziness.
That's craziness?
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you let people go help? The flood had already happened by that time.
Wow. Well, he responded to this. Let me see what his statement. This is what his statement says. Let's see. Let me see. I think I had his response.
I mean, was he worried about the city?
Let's see. I forgot. I gotta read it. Okay. The AFA statement release. The Austin Fire Department responded to the accusation. The weather this weekend devastated the entire region, and the Austin Fire Department is proud to be a part of the response effort. The decision about how to allocate resources to help our fellow Texans is not a simple one. It requires communication from public safety partners on the ground to ensure we are providing resources and personnel when, where, and how they are needed. The Austin Fire Department must also prioritize having sufficient resources in our own community, given the unpredictability.
Well, that makes sense. That's what I was asking. I mean, he's trying to protect his own community.
Oh.
Okay, and that actually makes sense. He's got to have his people there.
Oh.
Because Austin is not a small city. Austin is a massive city. And so that I get. I mean, he has to have the people there. Now, he probably sent people that were off, not working those shifts. That, you know what I'm saying? That we need to. Y'all can go, but not everyone can go. We can't leave the city without protection.
Wow. So but you see the angle they're doing. They're looking for somebody to blame.
They're looking for a scapegoat, right? So, they're looking for a scapegoat, but there's no scapegoat to be had, and it wouldn't be Austin, people.
Yeah.
It would not be Austin. This county, Kirk.
Thank you.
I mean, people need to understand. When people talk about Texas, they don't understand the size, right? They, especially if they live in New York or, you know what I'm saying, places like that. They just don't understand the sheer size. It's like same thing for you in California. People talk to y'all. Well, y'all both live in California. One might be in Sacramento, one might be in San Diego.
Yeah.
They do not understand the sheer distance.
Yeah.
That's there. And that is the same thing here. I mean, it's the distance and the landmass of Texas is massive. Just because something happens in El Paso doesn't mean Houston could help.
Wow.
Bingo. That's a full day's drive, people.
Wow. Tell them, Val. Well, listen, what we got to do is help people get context and clarity on this. And we're going to keep our eyes on it. All right, bro?
Thank you, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Val a huge, huge round of applause. No lies detected. Yeah. This is serious business out here, all right? But we might have to bring you back up depending on what happens, all right? But seriously. Sorry. Oops. Sorry, Val. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter real quick, and I'll try to bring you up real quick. We don't need you to stay up here long. We just want to make sure we know we want to make sure you know that we see you for what you are. All right, let's see. Do we have any Trump supporters before I move on to the next guest? Not you, Tiny Tank Top Tom, because, I got to add the turkey neck part too. All right, you should add turkey neck to your name, all right, because that's actually very, very important, all right? W. Lotus, thank you. Thank you. No, I'm not afraid of you. Knock it off. Nobody is afraid of you. Good morning, Takesha. How are you?
Hey, Sugar. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Now that you're here. Woo-wee.
Listen, Zeus. Let me go back to yesterday for a minute. Lex came on camera, Zeus, looking like Bud from Urban Cowboy with his hat on. Turning on the women in your chat. Take it over your handsomeness, Zeus. You gotta let him keep the camera off, Zeus.
All right, W. Takesha, and that's an order. That's a new executive order, perhaps.
Yes, those women were acting like they were in the Sahara Desert wanting a tall glass of ice Lex. It was ridiculous how they were carrying on, Zeus, and we cannot have them carried on about another man.
All right.
On your platform, Zeus.
All right. Well, you know what? From your lips to God's ears, effective immediately. There's a new executive order in the
Then
kingdom.
Lex has to leave his camera off.
All right, W Takesha. All right, and this will stop all of the women from doing what you said, right?
It will stop their hearts from palpitating and all of that stuff.
Okay,
it was ridiculous yesterday.
Yeah, and we've been needing to do this for a long time now that I
Yes,
think about
Zeus.
it. So thank you, Takesha, for that new executive order. You know what? Let me go ahead and see if the Lord can do something. Let me go ahead and see if I can bless you with something. Because when God, when folks come up here, ladies and gentlemen, and y'all go out there, y'all go ahead and bless Takesha this morning if you don't mind. Because see, that's what we need more of. I put up with so much on TikTok, and when people get in my live, and I know them, and I think Lex is a nice person.
He's a very nice
he's
person,
a nice
but
person.
he turned on too many women yesterday. We can't have that, Zeus.
All right, and that's the part, and we can't have treason in the kingdom. So I appreciate all of you because Takesha worked very hard to sign that. Come up with that executive order. And Lex, no offense, bro. No offense, but you got to knock it off because then next thing you know, someone else thinks they're Lex 2.0, and then we're going to have a serious problem. And so we got to keep order in the kingdom. Thank you. Thank you, Takesha. You're right.
Then we'll have Nutty thinking he can do it, You got to get some order in the kingdom. So the executive order has been put in place.
Thank you. And I would tell you, we don't need to do that. But when you look at how he did what he did yesterday.
Necessary, Zeus.
Yeah, unnecessary roughness. Yeah, that's what it was. I get it. Yeah,
we got to put plans in place for people like Lex, who came in and just caused the great commotion yesterday.
Yeah. And I don't like to attack black sometimes, but sometimes you got to attack black. W. Zeus.
Now, one more thing, and then I'm gonna get into what I need to say.
Talk about it.
Another, and I gotta
get Lex got cooked. He didn't even know it, but he got cooked. But Lex, it came from a good place.
We love you, Lex, but you can't be the most handsome on this show. You gotta cut it out.
Yeah, and actually, Lex, you almost got me in trouble yesterday with my mom, and I said I gotta do a better job. So Takesha, thank you, because he wasn't keeping it clean. That does. It's not just the words.
Yesterday. He was out of control yesterday, Zeus.
I think he should. Do you think he should apologize?
When he comes up, he should definitely apologize for trying to take the H out of the triple H and give it to himself, sis. That's what he did, Zeus. He came in with that hat on, and he knew better.
Yeah. See, back when I was growing up, that'd get you a whooping. You know that?
Exactly.
And so Lex was trying to get me a whooping yesterday. Okay.
Exactly. He wanted to take you to the woodshed, Zeus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got something for Lex. All right.
Okay. Now let me say Shay. Shay said that some of our friends are long-winded, and Shay Wynn was longer than the Nile River. So
Takesha just go for it.
Don't ever say that again, Shay, because yesterday, Shay, your win was longer than the Nile River. I ain't lying, Shay. Shay had monologue so long, Zeus, I took a nap, woke up, Shay was still monologuing. Okay. But on a serious note,
Takesha gonna tell you how she feel, whether you like it or not. I mean, I gotta give it to you. You're honest. You're up there with me with your honesty.
I just gotta be honest, Zeus.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, Zeus, I had to mess with them today.
Yeah.
What Pam Bundy is doing reminds me of that family member that tells the child to not tell anyone that Uncle Jimmy sneaking in their room at night and touching them. She is taking up for Donald Trump, who has done the unthinkable to children.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the most horrendous things a woman can do to victims who are children. I think it's disgusting to want to keep a position rather than show integrity and empathy for what happened to young girls. It's disgusting, Zeus.
Yeah.
But people don't see wrong until it happens to them or someone close to them. And everybody that keeps going along to get along and covering up these things, there's always an uncovering of what you do. And when you have to answer, and pay for what you do, you know why you're wearing those lowercase t's, because those are not crosses, because you're not representing anything that Christ stands for. You just wearing a lowercase t around your neck.
Yeah.
You're going to hate you ever did what you did to protect somebody that has no heaven or hell to put you in. And that's what I wanted to say yesterday. I think it's really ridiculous how you see it every day of a child coming out when they're adults saying, well, they told me not to say anything, or they said don't talk out of the house. And they've dealt with tragedy and trauma from what happened to them their whole life because an adult decided to try to cover up for another adult. It's disgusting and it's sad, Zeus.
It to me, it really, really is sad. But what's even sadder is the rhetoric from the right about how we shouldn't even be worried about this being an issue, right? They're going, oh, if like they think, well, I don't like Laura Loomer, but they don't like the fact that Laura Loomer is upset about this. They don't like
Laura
the fact
Loomer
that
is upset because she think Donald Trump ain't in there. That's the only reason she upset. If she knew his name was in there, guess what she wouldn't be saying? Not a doggone
you think
thing.
she would protect him.
I think she would protect him too. They all do. They all do. The point is this.
What about the woman that said she's done with him? Because I read the story, Trisha Hope. I read the story about her, and she says she's done with Trump after all the rallying she did.
She's done with him because she thinks he's not in the list. Zeus, let me tell you.
That's crazy. They still think he's not in the list.
The people that are upset that the list is not coming out doesn't think Donald Trump is on it. They want that list to come out, Zeus, because they think everybody else on it but him. They're really not concerned about the children. They want to expose some people that they've been wanting that they want to think is a bad person. They don't think Trump is on that list.
That's crazy.
But Elon say he is, and Elon got a copy. And eventually Elon gonna find. See, Trump say he the computer king. He gonna find a way to leak that list that ain't gonna even come back to him that he leaked it.
Wow.
I'm telling you, Zeus.
I mean, I agree with you, but it's not funny. The interesting thing is they still need more confirmation that Trump is on that, even though they saw how he reacted.
They don't know, Zeus.
They don't think. I take your word.
They don't think he does anything wrong. Everything he does is right, and everything other people do is wrong. But the reason this administration is going over and above his head is because all Trump wants is the title. He don't want to do the job. So they made sure he got the title, and they doing the job. They run the country how they want to, Zeus. While he sit back and just sit back with the title of president because it makes him feel important.
Wow.
He's not doing any job. That's why he keep going around with them suits on with that hat on. Everywhere he go, he going around with that hat on and that suit. Because he wants to feel important, Zeus. So Elon made sure he got back in. He did that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's all he wanted was a title.
Wow. This is disgusting and it's disturbing. And this is why I say you got to say something like, wow, isn't this, you just see all this stuff happening right now in America. You got to say like, why is everything just so upside down right now? Why?
Zeus, I'm going to say it like this. And I said it one time. I've said it many times and I'm going to keep saying it. We are just like the children of Israel. They begged for a king. The Lord stepped to the side. He gave them Saul. We are in our Saul era. These people beg for Trump because they say he was the only person who could save them. Instead of turning to the Lord, they put themselves on their knees and start praying to Trump. And now we're in the season of Saul. And we got to go through just like the children of Israel did. What's funny to me is Ted Cruz said he got in office for one specific reason. That was for Israel. Well, why you didn't go to Israel and help Israel instead of voting instead of running for Texas, because you're not doing nothing for Texas. If your main goal was to help Israel, go on over there to Israel.
Go on. I ain't
There's a
stopping
lot of
them.
stuff that these people say that nobody's paying attention to, Zeus.
Yeah.
It's not about America. It's not about the United States. It's about everybody outside of the United States with this administration. They don't care nothing about the people of this country.
You must have said something because, your friend Doozy, she said, y'all are pathetic.
Doozy is pathetic with a name like Doozy.
I shouldn't laugh, but that's actually funny. W. Takesha, that's actually funny.
Do you really think I care about a grown person with a name like Doozy? Doozy Zeus. Doozy even know what he's talking about? Doozy even know what he's talking about?
Well, she would argue she's a woman, Takesha.
But stop. Doozy even know what he's talking about, Zeus?
I can't. W. Takesha. I mean, it's not me, Mom. It's Takesha, so she could get the whooping, not me. I'm trying to keep it clean. All right. But it's self-owned, to be quite honest. All right. But you're right.
I don't entertain Trump supporters because they just too in love with this man for me. And I don't entertain people that worship another human being who, if they don't bathe, will stink. Who, if got to put their pants on one leg at a time, just like them. Who will always have more money than them. You over here broke, and you clapping about a bill that's gonna help multimillionaires and gonna cause your demise, and you clapping because it was a bill by the Republicans. Y'all are not using the common sense that the Lord gave y'all, because y'all done took y'all common sense, put it in a red hat, and turned it upside down for MAGA. Get your life right. Get your mind together. Get it together, people.
Yeah.
Zeus, I gotta go, because these people be making they be disturbing my spirit.
Don't let them do it, but you know what we're going to do? Give Takesha a huge round of applause. Thank you. Well, they love you, and thank you for the executive order. Seriously, because we need more of that.
Welcome,
we got to
Zeus.
keep it clean.
Make sure Lex stick to that. You make sure Lex stick to it, Zeus.
All right, you from your lips to God ears, ladies and gentlemen. W. Takesha. Yeah, and I see folks are getting triggered by the way that I'm running this broadcast this morning. Despite all the technical difficulties in the reporting, we're still getting the truth out there. So listen up, and I'm going to say this again. If you're finding yourself getting triggered because of the way that I'm running my show and the way the truth is coming out, do me a huge favor, all right?
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. Because nobody's forcing you to be here. And Alter Ego, I see your remarks. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Ego says that, they voted for Kamala Harris. But, you spend a whole lot of time on this app. Who's this? W. Zena Smith. You spend a whole lot of time on my show, really just attacking me and just trying to tear down Big Zeus and what he's doing. And it just seems to me like you're totally conflicted, Alter Ego. And so maybe you should just drop the ego at the end of your name and just stick to Alter, all right? And maybe that'll straighten you out. W. Zeus. All right, if you're not adding, they say if it's not addition, it's subtraction, right? All right, and that's what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody said I need to send him straight to hell. I might have to, because the way that he's acting, it's just to me uncalled for. Let me go ahead and talk to my good friend Karma. Good morning, Karma. How are you? Welcome. It's been a long time since we've checked in, but how are you?
It's not doing his job. Okay, there's a problem.
Oh, coming in hot.
Sorry.
Who was that in the background? Karma? Somebody was going off about Donald Trump.
Oh, that was me.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay, when another country has to come into America to help the citizens of America who are being traumatized, okay, there's a problem with the president. Why is he not doing his damn job? I'm sorry, Zeus. I don't mean to curse. I'm sorry, Mama.
Well, at least you apologize. Go ahead. I'm glad you took care of it, but go for it.
I woke up and I looked at my phone. The first thing I do, I'm like, what did Trump do now? And I started literally just bawling.
Oh, no.
And crying because Mexico is helping us. Okay? And Trump is busy with ICE trying to deport the immigrants. What is going on?
Yeah, I seen a video out here in San Francisco. They're going straight to the immigration courthouse, and they're just getting into fights with people at the courthouse now. The way they're treating these people, and you're saying to yourself, but these are the same people that you're going to need to help with the rescue efforts.
Yes.
These are the same people you're going to need to help rebuild, right?
And you want to hear something else? Okay? I am part of the 1% of the disabled community.
Oh.
And I am their voice because I will make my voice heard. I am a heard.
Thank you.
And
thank you. Tell them.
America's voice needs to be heard. Trump needs to be impeached again. And I have no respect for any Trump supporter. If you support Trump, I don't care. You are off my list. You are not in my circle of friends at all.
You're not even a little bit, huh?
No.
No,
I
because
have no respect. I have no compassion, and I have no remorse to turn your butt away from me. Get away from me.
you know, it takes a lot for you to get to that point because I've known you for a while, Karma, and you're a really nice, sweet person. And you would give anybody the shirt off your back if they needed. But
I would. I had to help. Let me tell you something.
Go
I had
ahead.
to help a gentleman cross the street about a month ago in my community, okay? And there was a busy road, and I seen he couldn't walk right. So I stopped my car, ran across the street to help him.
Yeah.
And he just fell to the ground because he's like, I thought you were going to beat me up. He started crying. I'm like, what? No, why would I do that? I'm like, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah. That's what I know about you. And so for you to now be at this point, especially with MAGA, where you just said you don't care about it, it just tells me how much damage Donald Trump and his supporters have already done to this country, right?
Yes.
And then, you know, we have 3.5 years left.
We're not going through another 3 years of this. Remember when Trump got impeached last time for
Yeah.
not doing his job? He got impeached like 3 times, didn't he?
Well,
3
two,
strikes,
but
you're out.
well,
Why are you
two,
back?
yeah, yeah.
He is back because he wants the title. He wants to be a winner. He is not a winner. He's a loser. And he needs to get out of this country. You know what? Instead of helping the people in Texas, he went down to look at his new home at Alcatraz Island.
You said that's his new home?
That is his new home. Send him.
Wow. W Karma.
I don't
Because you know, you brought up a point.
for their lives.
I think, you know, they say, you know, the wicked, they dig a ditch for others to go in it, but they end up falling in it themselves. And so to a certain degree, you might be right. Alligator Alcatraz, that just might very well end up being his new home.
Let me tell you something, okay? There's a comment from Debbie Cakes. Does impeaching even work? Let me tell you something, Debbie Cakes 777, okay? Let me tell you something. What year were you born? Okay, you are not even old enough to remember when this happened the first time. So don't even ask if impeachment works, because it does, and it did, and it will again.
Well, there you go. You said it. Yeah, that's the goal. But the other side is, we would have JD Vance coming in behind him and all that other stuff.
You know what?
What's
I
that?
don't care about JD Vance. He's as stupid as Trump.
You're just done with these people, ain't you?
I am so done with the Republicans. I swear I am.
Wow. And then is there
Take
anything
a back seat on the bus? And the bus is coming down Fifth Avenue. Do not get on.
Oh! Go ahead, Karma. Is there anything the Republicans can do, Karma, to earn your respect back, or is it pretty much a done deal in your world?
It's done. I am done with the Republicans. The bus is coming on down Fifth Avenue. Okay?
Yeah.
I was hit by a bus on Diablo Drive in 1984.
Oh,
no,
no.
it's for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And this is the reason I was hit by that bus on Diablo Drive.
Yeah, you told me
it. Speak my piece right now.
That part.
Get Trump out. He is gone.
Amen. Go ahead. So you really do want Trump out of here in terms of him being impeached and removed from office. Do you think perhaps do you believe that perhaps he should spend some time in a prison or something like that? Or do you think it's
who is willing to stand out on Daytona Beach Pier with me and willing to take Trump's diaper off, because I'm about to
Karma, stop it. I don't want to be with you and you take his diaper off. That's just nasty, Karma.
Well, you know what? That's also considered animal abuse, because you can't feed sharks plastic.
Karma, you got a nice sense of humor. I got to give it to you, because I was there with you. I was like, okay, we're going to go protest. Then you say, no, we're going to take his diaper off. Karma, I can't handle that. That's just too much for me. I think I would need to see the doctor if that ever happened, because that would be considered a biohazard, because you don't know what's in that thing. You know what he eats, right?
Right. Yeah, they don't want that. That's how
Yeah, I'm glad we thought about that again. All right, but I totally understand. You can let his supporters take his diaper off, because that's probably what they want to do when you think about it, right?
Yeah. One more point I've got to make.
Go ahead and make your point. Go ahead and do it.
If Kamala Harris would have been allowed to do her job in the White House, do you think any of this would be going on right now?
No.
Noah done sent the floods, and he will about to come in on his ark. Okay, if there's anything left.
Yeah.
But you know what? Lefties are always right. Ask Obama.
Hey! I like what you did when you did what you did. Tell him, Karma.
You know what?
What's that?
Karma heard you.
You sure
right?
did. Yes.
And Karma heard America.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could run as president, I would be the first disabled president with head trauma. And I would do it at a heartbeat, but I'm not that smart.
Oh, no. I got to take that back. You're actually very, very smart. And you really could do it, to be honest with you, Karma. I mean, come on.
If I could, I would.
Do you think
I'm not rich.
MAGA has nothing on you, Karma? You know that, right? Nothing.
MAGA kiss my...
Keep it clean. Don't get too far. Don't go too far now, Karma. But you... way smarter than MAGA. You would run this country way better, because you wouldn't do anything like this. You wouldn't cut funding to federal agencies that save Americans, right? All right.
No, I would not do that. Why would anyone do that?
Yeah, would you build anything like Alligator Alcatraz using federal dollars? Would you do that?
No. You know what my first thought would be?
What's that?
Help America.
Thank you. Then you can be the president. Then you can be the president, Karma, because we have literally the most incompetent administration known to humankind and mankind history. You know that. We've never seen just incompetence at all levels of government like this.
What is wrong with him? He's never been hit by a bus. I don't see anything wrong with Trump. I mean, Trump is a malignant narcissist who lives in denial.
Yeah.
Once you become a certain age, that disorder becomes permanent.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no help for Trump. Trump is done.
Some say he has dementia.
I don't care what he has. Trump is a malignant narcissist.
Yeah.
He lives in denial.
Yeah.
And his family, for the past how many generations, have never served in the U.S. Air Force, Army,
No.
Marines,
Yeah.
Navy,
They.
National Guard, nothing.
Nothing.
And last stage of dementia, my butt, Shay.
You got on Shay too. Wow, Shay, you're catching it this morning. I don't know how, but Shay, this is family. We're all a family. We're all a family, and we joke with each other like this. Don't worry. But MAGA, you can't joke with us like this. I promise you, it'll be the worst thing you've ever done. Well, listen, Karma. All right. Well, listen. I have to move it on. But you're doing it.
Sorry, sis. I just needed to. Woo!
No need to apologize. It's always a pleasure to have you come in here. It's like a breath of fresh air, to be quite honest. And we needed that because what you did, you just reinvigorated me. You got all my juices flowing. All right, I'm feeling very inspirational now. So thank you. And
I just needed to get that off my chest because I'm gonna be mad and pissed for the rest of the day. It is time to embarrass Donald Trump. That's the only way you're gonna break his ego.
Bingo. And you know what? You're right. You got to embarrass him, and he's doing.
Embarrass him publicly in front of the world. Embarrass him.
Well, what do you think? Before you go, what's the most embarrassing thing you think? What do you think is the one thing that would just be so embarrassing for Donald Trump? If you don't have it on you, don't worry. But what do you think is one of the things that he's totally afraid of? We could come back to it later, maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now, but you know what?
What's that?
When I come back, when I think about it, I'll bring it. I'll come back up.
All right. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to it because I know you know how to get the dirt. All right, so keep up the good work and come back when you get the dirt. Because if that's all we got to do to end this nightmare, I'm down to do it. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Zeus. I love your show, and I love all the supporters.
And they love you.
Everyone. And we're gonna get this man out of the White House.
Thank you.
And privately. And Melania's gonna get deported again.
Oh, you ain't saving nothing off. You ain't leaving nothing off.
Melania.
Wow.
Is a gold digger. And Melania just does not want to change her way of life. That's why she's not saying nothing. She's a Republican-controlled woman.
I didn't say it. Karma said it. All right, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Fair enough. All right. Thank you, Karma.
Have a good day.
You too. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's incredible stuff right there. See, that's why you got to have a nice panel that comes up here because, I cover what I cover. But when these folks get up here and they start talking from the heart like that, you start to find out how Americans are truly, truly feeling about this guy in the White House and his administration. This is disgusting. This is disturbing. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to keep doing what Karma said. We got to embarrass the Trump administration. All righty then. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move up to our next panelist. Who do we have? Raphael, good morning. How are you? Are you there, Raphael? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. There's a little bit of a background situation, but how's it going?
Oh, it's pretty good. Hey, I just wanted to say something, man. Of course, I'm not a Trump supporter. I voted for Harris, but man, I see all these lives, man, and they're always talking, spewing facts and the truth, and nobody MAGA didn't want to accept it, but like normal people accept it. But when are we going to get to the point to where we do something productive and talk about doing something productive for the country, as in coming together and getting this man out of here, man? Finishing this regime. It's getting to a point to where something needs to be done, dude.
What part of the country are you calling in from?
Dallas right now.
All right. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Texas. All right. Seriously. I would say this. Let's not confuse what's going on the internet with what real work looks like, right?
Okay.
That's what a lot of things. And so one of the things is you definitely need to be active in the area that you're in. All right, because change starts there, especially at the ballot box. But this, to me, the social media is more of the cream on the top of the dessert, so to speak. It's not really the actual dessert of what we're trying to do. But in terms of coming together, there's a lot of things, honestly, we probably should be doing. I think that everybody is going to have to, you have your wish list in terms of candidates, correct?
Yeah.
But I think everyone's going to have to look at that wish list and say, what can we do without in order to save this country? Next time they go into that ballot box, because what I'm concerned about mostly is we have a group of folks who are going to say, well, I just can't bring myself to vote for this person. They're not 100% of what I want. And there's going to be so many of those that will end up allowing what we've allowed this time to happen all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like this is my thing. He's taking all this money from Medicare and Social Security. Well, he hadn't touched Social Security yet, but he's taking all this money. He's spending $48 billion on building these sea camps, and he's taking hardworking people, man, that have no reason to be deported. And dude, he's just trying to, it's not just him. It's these degenerates he's surrounded by that just want to destroy this country, man.
What?
They have already destroyed this country, and it's already on a downslide.
Well, I would say this: there has to be a consequence for people who voted for Donald Trump. Despite all of the warnings. And so I honestly think it's going to have to get a lot worse before it gets better. Yeah. Because we were on social media for years saying this is what he's going to do. And they said it was fear mongering. When it comes to immigration, they say, oh, he won't do that to us. He's only going after the bad ones. And now you're hearing more and more people who supported Donald Trump, whether it's the Epstein thing or the immigration issue, coming out of the fog and going, oh, this isn't what I signed up for. And you just have to say to yourself, growing up as a kid, sometimes you have kids out there that their parents could say, just don't do it, and they won't do it. Then you have the other kids out there that they got to learn the hard way. And this is what I think is going on in this country. A lot of people, for whatever the reason was, we're going to have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But you know what I do? What I do, though, and I didn't want to cut you off, but like this weekend, I go out here, and it isn't even about voting. I'm talking to people who I think voted for Donald Trump, and I'm really just questioning them, asking them, why did you do this? What is the real issues that got you to this point? And when you really listen to a lot of people, a lot of it sometimes comes from, feeling like maybe they didn't feel represented enough in whatever political situation they were in. And so they felt like either they shouldn't vote or they felt like at least Donald Trump was speaking on issues they felt mattered. So it's really weird. But then when you actually break it down to him and you're saying, well, is he really doing anything? This is when you start to see people waking up and realizing it. And to your point, when it happens to them, all of a sudden they start to say, well, maybe there's a different way to go about doing this. But there's a lot of noise in the background, brother. I didn't want to.
I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'm gonna get off.
All right.
But yeah, I understand everything you're saying, man. I listen to you often. I listen to a lot of people often on here, and like I said, I was always against Trump since he started running in 2015. I knew he was full of it,
Yeah.
And my point is that for all these people to support that and to vote for that, it's a racial it's racism, dude, and that's all there is to it. And I don't think that we're gonna really change their point of view, and it's gonna come down to action because these guys that voted for him, they're not ever gonna admit why they voted for him, but that's why they voted for him. I mean, that's the only reason that there could be for them to vote for this man, and that's what I'm worried about, man. And if you go back in history to 1930s, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing, man. And the people just fell right into it, and they got so deep that there was just a point of no return. And I think that we're close to that point.
Well, I agree with you, and I would just say keep on doing what you're doing, but just understand some people got to learn the hard way. And like I said, I don't want to see the crocodile tears no more. Y'all voted for this. I play stories all the time. Trump voters getting deported for whatever the reason, or maybe something else happening to them. Right? You see what's happening with the flooding. And as sad as these things are, you can't help but wonder, like, this has got to be some sort of divine intervention happening to make these people realize how far out of touch they've gotten.
Yeah, they brought the judgment, God's judgment on this country, man, and it's going to be pretty rough.
Yep. That's all I can say. Well, listen up, brother. I appreciate you. All right, keep up the great work.
Yes, sir.
All righty then, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you got to have moments like that and talk, all right? Sometimes you got to talk like this, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see. Who is this? Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, wow. Good morning, Zeus. Thank you for bringing me up.
Yes, how can I help you?
I just wanted to, say I've never in my life seen such permissible, internalized racism and misogyny that has been so prevalent amongst I don't even want to call them MAGA. I want to call them by their true name, the American Fascist Party. Because
can I ask you a question, though? Your name is quite interesting. What's the backstory on that?
No, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a joke. This is a bit of a joke page, for me. I do,
Okay.
I go up on a lot of MAGA panels, and I, as a friendly, and then, let them hear exactly how they sound, and then I take them off the cliff and see how them follow, So I don't know. It's just.
Okay, I just wanted to get some context behind it because, there's a lot of interesting folks out here. And, I don't want people trying to pull a fast one on Big Zeus.
No. I am a staunch supporter of your platform, your page.
Okay.
Much respect and love to the, Dr. Lex and, Val and Nutty and everybody who comes up, Takesha and everybody who comes up.
So he knows Yal. Okay, all right. So, but you went and said Dr. Lex first. Did you hear Takesha's new executive order? I'm just saying.
I did. I heard that. Okay. I fully support it.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
But I just really wanted to make everybody aware of the movie 2073. It is a scripted film, but there is a hidden documentary within. So I recommend everybody check that out. Mm-hmm. It is a bit of homework. You will get some insight into Palantir and Teal and the whole Heritage Foundation and what it's actually going to cause and what it could actually lead to.
What platform is it on? I have never seen it.
It's on Max.
Okay.
Maybe on Prime as well. But yeah, definitely look for it. 2073. You'll appreciate that.
Okay.
But yeah, much love to everybody and, a lot of respect.
Fair enough.
To Mama.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're a nice gentleman. Well, thank you.
Yes, keep doing what you do.
All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you for coming up and giving us the plug. All right. Seriously. All right. We're going to try to.
Love it. Much respect. Thank you.
All right. Much respect to you. All right. I'm going to try to get up out of here, but I did want to make sure I took care of some very important kingdom business. Good morning. Yeah, it's kind of a rough day, huh? I can understand, but I still love you, Dr. Lex. I still love you, but Takesha did it, and it is what it is, I would say. But is there anything you would like to say, or do you want to appeal it or anything?
You know something? I'll leave my camera off if you want me to leave my camera off, please.
It's not
Is your mom?
me. It's not me. It's not me. It's Takesha. I didn't
Is your
say a
mom?
thing. I just said, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, if you turn it on, that's on you. I can't tell you not
I
to,
know
but
if I turn it on, you're gonna drop me.
no, I won't. No, no, no. We're men of stature. Come on now. We're gentlemen. I don't got time to do that, but I just want you to know if you do it, you're in violation.
What's gonna happen if I get violated though?
Well, I can't say, but I'm just saying I'm not gonna drop you or anything. But that doesn't mean other mods don't have capabilities and things like that. Maybe I don't know. But I personally, I'm too big to act small. Seriously.
Yeah, this is a trap.
No, 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 no. I mean, listen, go for it.
Hey,
Turn it on. Turn it on.
is,
It ain't gonna do nothing but enhance what I'm doing.
is your mom on here?
She could be.
Oh, okay.
You can turn it on.
Well,
Listen. All right, listen. You're
let's see what
not
happens
taking.
here.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, and turn the camera real quick. Let's see what we got going on over here. And I normally wouldn't say anything like this, ladies and gentlemen, but I just want to make. I just want to show you all that there's really no threat. All right, but if he wants to do it, he can. You feel better?
Oh boy.
Anyhow.
Okay, so Takesha.
What is it you wanted
All
to
right,
say today? Because I don't know why you up here wasting these people's time with that. You wasting
I'm
folks'
just
time. Your mom, come on now. We supposed to act like men of stature. Come on, W. Seuss.
okay.
No.
So Takesha, are you here, Takesha? Is she here?
She's here. I saw her earlier.
Where's she? Where's Takesha at? I want to talk to Takesha. You want to bring? You can bring her up if she wants to come over.
She hasn't sent a guest request. I think Takesha's firm on what she believes, and I can't allow you to. Oh, all right. Well, then you know what? Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. I apologize to y'all out there in the chat. This is
okay, sir.
Zeus, the impeachment process will begin.
Okay.
Okay. So wait.
Okay. She said the impeachment process will begin.
Let me, Takesha, I'm gonna do my appeal to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, love me your own special way. Melt all my heart away with a smile. Take time to tell me you really care, and we'll share tomorrow. That's my appeal.
Was he crooning?
Hold on, Lex. 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 You cannot sing your way out of the executive orders. I'm just letting you know, Lex.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Lex. It doesn't matter what you say or do. You still gonna get the boot if you come in like you do.
Hey.
Keep that hat off your head and turn off your camera, or you will be booted from the show from now on. All right, ladies.
Hey.
Okay, so all right. So to teacher, I'm country. I'm gonna put on my cowboy hat.
Lex, you got to go. You ain't welcome here no more. You can't adhere to the rules. Now get away and don't come back.
All right, listen, y'all. Okay, so everybody be morally responsible and pay attention to what our government's doing.
You might want to leave that alone. W. Takesha. He might want to leave that alone. W. Takesha. Thank you.
Okay, so you can.
Bye, y'all.
Okay. So
we squashed that beef. Did we? Oh,
Takesha,
where'd she go?
I know you, Takesha.
Did we? So, but we settled that now. All right, and so we don't want to ever have to have this moment in the kingdom again. It's done. It's a settled law. Thank you. So, what were you about to say, Dr.
Okay, so
Lex?
the thing is what I was talking about as far as our government's concerned is that MAGA is morally irresponsible. The way that they've been pivoting and gift galloping around this flood that happened because they fired 600 weather trackers, the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
And the fact that those storm cells, the water went from 7 feet to 29 feet in 45 minutes, and generally you have the tracker. I forget what they call that. What is that? Doppler.
Doppler radar. I know about the Doppler radar. Yes.
Yeah. In NWS handles the Doppler, and they do real-time tracking of storms. So they gave a forecast earlier that afternoon. The storm changed. I've seen storms change here.
Yeah.
And what happens is because Texas and the flatlands are so hot, and then it gets that that moisture hits it from the river, heat makes storms speed up. So when they get over water, they really start doing their thing, especially if it's hot.
Well, should Lex executive order stay in place? 100% say yes. So Lex, Dr. Lex, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you an exception because I'll be honest, you did a heck of an appeal. That was a heck of an appeal, and if I wasn't Big Zeus, I would have said, you know what? And so what we'll do is, you know how Trump did the little TikTok thing, you extend it, the pause on it, and you're not enforcing it. For now, we won't enforce the executive order. All right, W Lex, W Doctors, W Zeus, W Dr. Lex, ladies and gentlemen. This is kingdom business, ladies and gentlemen, at the highest level. But and to each their own. Maybe I should go back to being the love guru and facilitate people who might be interested. All right, because I can do that. I got the skill set to do that. But I'll go ahead and put a pause on the enforcement of the executive order for now. All right, because
Okay, so listen. I just came up. I'm enjoying this morning. I've laughed and laughed and laughed. But what I'm going to say is if you can't be morally responsible and good to other people, then what purpose do you have even being in existence? Because we were put here to love. Love is the basis of everything that we're supposed to be doing out here in the world.
Amen.
And we seem to have lost that. They have. But you know what? There's a lot of people in this life. I love everybody. I love everybody on here. Everybody that supports me.
Yeah.
And Zeus, I appreciate it. We talk on the phone and stuff. And
I got the music you sent yesterday too.
Are you gonna do something with that? That's hilarious.
I'm gonna try something. See what I can do with it because that's how this works. It's really the love for the music you do this, right?
Yeah, I think that you could have some fun with it. Do you know anybody that's a Spanish singer or something?
Well, I don't know if they can sing, but I know people. Why you can, but. We can talk about it a little bit later.
Okay, yeah, just call me. You got my number. Right. But thanks for having me. And
fair enough.
Takesha House, just Lord help us all.
Yeah, two of the most talented people that just came up together, and we had a little bit of a dance off or a sing off in a way, right? And
I felt like I was begging, like in them old 1970s songs.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work. Cause see, if we let you through, Dr. Lex, we're gonna have to let Nutty through, and then the list goes on and on. And then Eugene's gonna try to come up here, and we just can't do that. All right.
I guess I have to take my shirt off then.
No! Please don't! Hold on, wrong one. Don't do that. No. Later, bro. W Zeus. Now that's that one. Thank you, Dr. Lex. All right. Shoot. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. And this is some kingdom business. And he knew I had to address him. Hi, brother Nutty.
So I heard you reference my name. Why couldn't you leave well enough alone? But I do have a question for you. Going back to karma.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
My question to you.
But no, let's stop for a second. What do you mean well enough alone? I was going to let it go to. I said no.
I think you need to let this one go. I think you need to let it go because everybody in the kingdom know that you don't have 3 H's. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. See, you asked for this. You asked for this. I said leave well enough alone.
You know what?
Because I was respecting the kingdom.
Fair enough. Well, I'm gonna do you like my mom used to do me. I'll see you when you get home after school. How about that? W Zeus.
So moving past you right now.
You know what that meant. You knew what that meant, huh?
You're right. How many times have we heard that?
Right. Yeah.
I have a really serious question for you though.
Fair enough.
Can a malignant, narcissistic, habitual liar ever be embarrassed? So that's the question. I don't think that there's anything to make that man embarrassed, because let's think about this for a second. Let's go to Butler, Pennsylvania. All right? And so think about what happened in Butler.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back some 25, 30 years ago. Not that long ago, but 20 years ago, when Mike Tyson bit off a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear. Now, imagine both of those side by side. Now, you mean to tell me teeth can do more damage than a bullet?
Not in my world.
Did he put some miracle grow on his ear and it grew back?
No, we know what that was.
I'm not saying, Zeus. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So even after that, can a narcissistic, pathological liar ever be embarrassed?
I don't think so. But you know what? You saw him when he was going up them stairs and they caught him falling a little bit. That look on his face. What do you think about that?
That's the thing. He can never be embarrassed.
What about if he was laying on the beach getting a tan like he talks about Joe Biden?
Zeus, he's too arrogant and he's too dumb to get embarrassed.
I agree.
He's too arrogant and he's too dumb. But anyway, so people in Texas, Val,
yes.
Shay, and all the countless, I saw DJ Kitty in here, all the other countless people that are in Texas right now. You all have an amazing candidate that has announced his run for governor. His name is Bobby Cole. I need every single one of y'all to start saying his name, just like everybody in New York City should be saying Mandami. Bobby Cole is an amazing candidate. He's someone that can actually beat broken wheels. Y'all need to really start putting people in office, and this just isn't, reserved for Texas. This goes for every other red state, including my own in Missouri. Start putting in people in office that has your best interest at heart, that actually care about the plight that you're living on a daily basis. Bobby Cole is a farmer. If I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's former military as well. Wow. But he's a farmer. And he's somebody that seems to want to help the people of Texas. So, I know Texas is gerrymandered, as is every other state. But we got to stop making excuses.
Amen.
And we got to get off your lazy hind pots. Not only do you need to get yourself to the poll,
amen,
you need to get at least 10 to 15 others to the polls.
Make sure you watch them circle the box.
Because that's the thing. That's the only thing that's going to beat gerrymandering. Is an overwhelming number of people voting. That's why we see all of these voter suppression laws. Because when we vote, we win.
Amen.
Kamala said it best. When we vote, we win.
Amen.
That's why she's not sitting in the White House. Because not enough of us cared enough to get out and vote. That's it. That's all I have.
All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, W Nutty and Nutty, I got to give it to you. You came up here and you always keep your camera off, bro. I wanted to just say from the bottom of my heart, honestly, thank you for coming in, just bringing the facts and keeping your camera off. Fair enough.
Listen, I can turn the camera on and embarrass you. But when I typically come up, I'm in areas where I shouldn't even have a phone out anyway.
Okay.
So I want to respect the privacy of others.
I see that.
But tomorrow when I come to the kingdom,
you don't need to do anything different. Just stick to what works.
I will make certain that I'm in an area where I can show you how good looking I am, my brother. I will make certain of that. Cat got your tongue?
I almost threw up in my mouth. But you know what, W Zeus? I got this guy up here triggered. He's triggered. He got to go do something special. Put a bow tie on while you're doing it, right? Put a bow tie on, put a little top hat on and
You know
everything.
what?
Go
Listen.
ahead, put the whole outfit together. It's still not going to do anything. Trust me.
Listen.
I've seen many like you come and many like you fall. W Zeus.
I'll pull out the ascot. I'll pull it all out. I got the ascot. I got the bow tie. I got the regular tie.
Okay, okay.
I got it all.
Yeah, you're gonna need all of that, and spray some of that smell good on too. All right, because you're gonna need that too. All right, trust me. I know your kind.
You know my kind?
Yeah.
So if you knew my kind, Zeus, you should know.
He sprays Bengay all over himself. That's what I meant.
You should know that you can't compare.
Come on.
If you knew my kind, you should know you cannot compare. See, you asked for this. I came up here to just say my piece and to get out of here. But you, my good friend, you kept it going.
No, honestly, I addressed it and then I deaded it. That's what I do. I have to address all of the stuff that goes on in the kingdom. That's my responsibility. It's something I took an oath to do. And when folks like you get up here and they try to do what you did, I got to address it and nip it in the bud so it doesn't continue to, fester like a cancer or something like that, if you know what I mean. And like I said, you don't need to do it. But if you do it, just understand, I've seen many of your kind before, and you ever seen them? No.
Listen,
you know why? They're no longer. They're no longer.
You know, Zeus, to each their own, right?
All right.
To each their own. Somebody out in this world thinks that Turkey Neck 4-H is a good looking guy. Now, I don't know who, but somebody out there that's besides his mother, because to my understanding, he's married to his cousin, but he's married. But, I'm just somebody out in this world thinks
there's not enough chemicals in a bottle. There's not enough chemicals in the bottle or anything you can actually take to make anybody that delusional, is there?
Well, obviously there is, because look at Trump. Look at Trump. See, so let me ask you another question. Do you think Trump has all these women flocking around him because he's handsome? I don't think so.
No.
We know he stinks.
Yeah. I give you that.
It has to be one thing, and well, two things.
What's that?
One is his bank account. I say that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
His bank account and his power.
Fair enough. And the money.
And for whatever reason, people are attracted to those things, and which I don't get, because I'm not attracted to either.
Yeah. I don't know, but there's a lot of desperate people out here, and they think those things will actually help them feel better in life. They don't.
Well, but I will say this. This to the kingdom. Y'all may continue reporting these lives.
Yeah.
But y'all see how many people come in here on a daily basis? That means that there are enough of us in the kingdom with multiple accounts that this account may go down, the backup account may go down, but those of us, especially attacking, that has 30 accounts, Zeus will always have a platform.
Amen. Well,
remember that.
Thank you.
Remember
Nutty.
that.
All right. Well, listen.
Because we can get up here and we can joke around, have fun, but at the end of the day, we're here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to get the word out, to tell the truth, shame the devil, and to get this regime out of the White House. And I need everybody to get out there. I don't care what obstacle they're putting in front of you to vote.
Yes.
You jump through that hoop and you make sure that your vote count. It starts at the local level. So you vote for city council, vote for county commissioner, vote for school board. Start at the local level. But get your nasty hindpots out there and vote.
Amen. Amen. We're back.
Nutty?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you leave yet. Don't
Yes, ma'am.
you leave, because I came up here because I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh.
Zeus, why'd you bring her up?
No. This is
Mr.
important.
Handsome, Mr.
Yeah.
I can spray myself with anything and make the ladies do.
Yep.
Never mind.
I have advice for him, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's taking away from his handsomeness? I mean, he might be there with you, but what's going on late at night? He's coming around into people's lives and he's demanding to come up. He's demanding certain people call him King Nutty, right?
This
Am
is
I
him.
right? He is demanding.
This is him. This is what he does.
Well,
He says that we all need to bow down. He's demanding it.
So he's trying to fleece the flock.
Now you're lying. So
He's
there's
trying to
another
feast.
deduction.
And in fairness, you see the crown.
Oh.
You see the crown.
See, now lies, because that's AI. So now we've got more deductions.
Yeah. Because he really thinks this. I'm starting to see it now. He's sending me a subliminal message with his
He's creeping
photo.
around these streets at night, making us say, bow down to King Nutty. Let me up right now.
But isn't a God bigger than a king, though? A God's bigger than a king, right?
I know who I am, and I
no,
know
you don't. No, you don't.
and I know whose I am.
No.
So therefore,
Nutty.
I am a king.
Nutty.
So get it right.
Nutty. It's the Antifa demon.
We're doing a call out live between Lex and Takesha.
Yeah, it's the
I don't
Antifa
think Nutty
demon.
should get a pass here with his behavior that I'm seeing in the evenings.
Okay.
That's all I have to
Okay,
say.
well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a special place in hell. A special place in hell for the Antifa demon. Thank you,
I'll get you
Ange.
back for what you pulled the
Thank
other
you.
night.
Yeah. There's going to be a special place in hell for the Antifa demon, Nutty.
Zeus,
and
do not
you should
ever
just
bring Ange up when I'm on your panel. Don't you do it.
She can do that. She can do that. And now you're telling me what to do. You really do think you're a king.
I'm actually the.
He thinks he's a king. He thinks he's a king in my house.
He's running everywhere he goes. He's running around just demanding things. And next time you do that, you know what? He needs to throw me a galaxy. All right. If you're going to be doing
Tell him.
that's what you need to do.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Ange. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Ange a round of applause because she's doing an outstanding job as a cult leader. She's a cult leader, so a lot of people say Ange is the cult leader, and she just outed treason.
One of our own. I had to do it.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Nutty.
Ange.
I
Thank you, little hot. Yeah.
But
So, Nutty.
But see, before she goes, Ange, do you still love me? Do you still love me?
No. I can answer that for you, Ange. No.
And you love me too, Zeus. So
No. Listen, I can love the person but hate the sin, so to speak. So I get what you mean. But Nutty, the transgressions. It's the transgressions. It's the transgression, Nutty. Seriously.
Where's my brother?
Did you eat your breakfast this morning or something?
Where's my brother?
Did you not eat breakfast? Now he's calling for attacking. Attacking can't say you got yourself in.
Where's my brother attacking?
No.
See, wait.
All right.
This is what he's doing. He's deflecting to attacking because attacking's behavior is even worse. Okay, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Good try. This is what happens with siblings. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
They used to, as the middle child, those brothers of mine, they did it to me all the time.
Request the box.
No, because Zeus has to run, Nutty. No, Zeus. Well, I don't have to run. I have to leave. No, I have to leave, Nutty. But I want you to know I've never been so disgusted in my life. And thank you, Ange, because I gotta go create a special place in hell for the Antifa demon after this show. And I haven't figured out exactly what it'll be, but
sir, please and
I'm sorry. It looked like a call out live.
Okay, hold on.
Listen,
every time I try to get out of here, you three. This is the
what's going on, my brother?
Attacking. Is there something you want to clear up? Attacking real quickly, because these people.
There's something I want to clear up. Nutty's wrong.
Excuse me?
Okay, all right. So Nutty, you tore your draws. You tore your draws this morning, Nutty.
I side with Angela.
Thank you, attacking.
I know what side.
Nutty.
Attacking you, traitor.
Nutty.
Yeah, I called for help the other day from Wakanda for you. I was calling for you, and you weren't around, so leave me alone.
3 against 1.
Bro, you should have.
It's 3 against 1, Nutty. It's over.
Wow.
It's over, Nutty. Has anyone ever said that it's over? But it's over.
See, here's the thing, Zeus. There's only 3 of you. I'm the army of one.
He's about to
I'm
do
the
it.
army of one.
See, there it is. The ego. It's the ego on this guy right here.
Absolutely.
And anyway, behind every good man is a better woman, and that's Angela.
Yeah, and so WW attacking coming up here with the line of the day. That's the line of the day. Nutty didn't even have that. And so, Nutty, here's the thing. You tore
Yes,
your
sir.
draws with us this morning, and I don't
Yes,
think
sir.
there's any way of coming back from that. All right, it's done. They're ripped. We can all see it. Is there anything else left? Because Big Zeus honestly has to get out of here, and this is treason at the highest order.
One last thing, and then I will drop. Nutty, I think for all these lies, for you to improve them, get better, go watch Pam Bondi, okay? Because yesterday,
And
uh-oh,
you suck.
no, yesterday we all saw that because, listen, she's a lawyer, and I was very unimpressed. She should lie better than that. She would say something and then look right at Trump like, did I do it? Did I do it right? Did I say what you told me to say? So, Nutty, I mean, I think you're even worse than her as far as lying.
All
You
right,
know I
Nutty.
love you, but I had to tell the truth about what you're doing around these streets at night.
And we got it all on the record and on film, and so thank you, Ange. All right, now a lot of people have been brought up, and then we don't got much time, but I figured I'd say let's let them all weigh in on what we're dealing with before we leave, and then we'll get out of here. Q Dog.
All I gotta say is, so Nutty. What
So,
do you want to do?
thank you,
Triple
Nutty.
H got, Zeus got Triple H. I got the sexiest.
Whoa!
And it all
Now
ends
we're
right
waiting
there.
on you.
We got some wild folks out here. Dr.
I'm
Keisha.
coming after your neck.
Oh, you coming after me. Ladies, which one do you want to choose? Do you want to pick Nutty or do you want to pick
Have you
Q
seen
Dog?
how big Q Dog is, motherfucker? No way.
Attacking. Whoa. Attacking now that is there something I missed? Is there anything y'all taking this morning that got y'all?
Well, no, but Q Dog's a big dude, man. I would no.
I agree.
All I gotta say is, ladies, which one do you want? Do you want Q Dog or do you want Nutty?
Well, excuse me, Q Dog. I have something that I would like to say. You do have a beautiful bald head, but I do have to say, Zeus, that Lexi got pearly white teeth too. They're real bright.
You okay?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that even though I love you,
I
but
love you too. That's true. But Lex doesn't have pearly white teeth, and we can talk about that perhaps offline if you don't mind. Because Bounce, I love you so much, but you can't say those things about him because it goes right to the wrong spot in his world. But I totally can understand why you would have came to that conclusion. Honestly.
well, I mean, the other day I was, when he was on live, I thought, oh my God, he is just. I never looked at him as being so handsome as I did when he had that hat on, that cowboy hat. It just changed my whole perspective about him. I mean, I love you in your baseball cap, but and those dreads. Oh my God. His dreads were just amazing.
Hey,
I
Bounce.
love you, Lexi, and yes?
Hey, Bounce.
Doc?
You know people put on costumes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Nutty, and that's a hard thing for me. But I agree. So Bounce, perhaps maybe, and that leads me to Dr. Keisha. Dr. Keisha, is it all right if we get you to do a little inspection checkup on Bounce? Because I just heard her say some stuff this morning, and I'm thinking maybe palpitations could be something going on out there. I don't know what could trigger them, but maybe check her temperature on.
And he took his shirt off.
Yeah, she seems pretty under the weather.
No, I'm staying out. My husband is fine.
Well, but you could at least acknowledge that. Isn't it something that she would say those things about Dr. Lex? It's like, what planet is she? That's totally outside of her character.
Dr. Lex said he calls foul on me, but Dr. Lex, I don't know. I think you did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
So we got some real treason out here.
I think I'm gonna say this, my dear beautiful brother Zeus. You do have the best head for hats.
I don't even know. See, Mom, I gotta apologize for that because, like I said, I know when the devil is doing a number on a lot of people. And Bounce, I'll just say this: everything that pops into your head ain't yours. All right, you can't
Is
just
that the
say
same thing as
things.
saying that somebody has a face for radio?
See what I'm saying? Wow.
That would be me.
Yeah, but no.
It,
Oh man.
wow. I mean, what has gotten into the community this morning? I mean, is y'all okay?
I know
Seriously.
that they're not okay, Zeus. Come on now. You had Nutty ask for backup from attacking. I said if he wanted, I said in the comments, if he wanted fake help, I could come up.
Wow.
Wow. Zeus, you know what this is? Zeus, this is what my lives look like. Total S shows. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to bring it in here. If
You
you want
did
a
this,
life
Ange.
like
By
this,
the way,
You
let me
did
say
this.
one more thing about Q Dog. Nutty, Q Dog is so big, he has his own fucking zip code. Oh,
You keep saying the bad
sorry, I
word.
didn't mean to. God, I'm sorry, Zeus. Mama Zeus, I'm sorry. I
No, you're
apologize.
not. No, you're not.
Q's head is a whole Q's head is a whole different continent.
Mm.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
Zeus.
hoping Lexi is still in the comments. Lexi, when you come back up here, always
He's
keep
never gonna
your
be here.
yes he is. Keep your camera on, sir. Okay, and come up with your shirt off. Okay.
Oh, no,
See, I think this is
no, Bounce. Bounce, you can please mute yourself. That was totally
all I'm gonna
uncalled for. Diablo. Oh,
But I do have to say,
you.
Zeus, I can see your muscles through your shirt. That's a big
Mm,
deal.
nope. Well, listen, you twisted my arm like that. I mean, and that's just because I'm structured that way. All right, but thank you, Bounce. Now, okay, but you've done quite a bit of damage, Diava. Please, I know you were trying to say something.
Yeah. Thank you. While I was enjoying Tinder Talk, I I just this is my backup account. I actually got my main account was permanently banned yesterday.
Oh,
So I just want to make sure everybody's following this account. This is not my main account.
okay.
This is my backup. So I just want to make sure everybody was following this account.
Make
I'm
sure y'all
working on
following it.
I'm working on hopefully getting it back, but who knows?
Okay.
But Zeus, you're the most handsome.
Thank you. I would have dropped everybody except for Diava after. Well, not you, Doc Keisha Davis, but and Ange, but you know all these other
I never
folks up
said
here
you
who.
weren't. It's just Nutty's behavior I came
Yeah.
here.
No. I would keep
Yeah.
you, Ange, because
To
you're
to
doing great.
respond, hey Zeus, to respond to Nutty, when you got a 7 foot Omega man with a bald head and a beard, that's a dangerous combination right there.
I give it to you. Yeah, you know what? And you guys see what I have to deal with this group of people. It's hard to deal with all of these personalities, all right? But you know what? We're going to get to where we need to be. Now, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to run, all right? But it was a pleasure, honestly, checking in with all of you wonderful individuals, all right? Because you do help me out in ways you just couldn't imagine, except for when you do this little thing you did today. Seriously, give
You know we gotta have fun with our
I was
brother.
just saying all those things up under your skin. You are the most handsome. You wear the best glasses.
Bounce. Goodbye. Goodbye, Bounce.
Hey,
Block her.
Hey,
What
hey,
about
Bow
Dr.
to my
Keisha?
greatness.
hey,
Bow to
I
my
told
greatness,
you, I
Zeus.
told you, Nutty. She said, Zeus got the Triple H, I got the sexiest.
Hey, Val.
They left you out in the cold, bro.
Yeah, where he belongs.
You know
oh
what?
no, I love Antifa. I love everything about Nutty. I think Nutty is handsome. He's a dark, handsome
Okay,
man.
keep it going. Keep it going.
Dr. Keisha, what are your thoughts? I know you have a handsome husband, though, just like I did. But
Well, she,
I'm not even.
can we get her on the medical collective, Doc? Because I think Bounce definitely should. She would be a good case study, perhaps.
Hey, Val.
Yes.
I'll send you your knife out of my back in the mail, okay?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Hey,
All right.
hey, I had to steal it from Ange first.
Oh. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't make this kind of
snitching,
stuff
snitch.
up.
That's the biggest snitch in the world, right? That dog down there at the he's a snitch. He
Wow.
knows what I'm talking about too. All right.
All right, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen,
I
we're
am.
out of here. Love you all. Thank you.
You
Thank
too,
you.
bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This concludes this special broadcast. I want to give a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Because without you, this show wouldn't be as incredible as it is. All right, it's entertaining, engaging, and definitely educational. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame. And they know who they are. This goes out to all of the Zeus haters out there. I don't know if there are any Zeus haters out there, but if they are, you know what that means. Let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. They support a P3DO, and they support the guy that's basically got the floods happening and wiping them out of the face of the earth. And they still want to blame the Democrats. Let's go ahead and give them one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe. We are out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Come here. Let's go. What a great show! Even though we got reported, we survived, right, Heather? Let's go. Sometimes you gotta love your family, whether they're good or bad. I get it. Thank you. Mount Negro. What a great show. Kabira, cut it out. But you're right. All right, we'll do a little drill, baby drill, and then we'll get out of here.
Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy, because you know she's going to ban fracking, right? 100%.
100%.
She's against fracking. Wow. A year and a half ago when she was getting killed.
Dr. Lex, I see you.
She said, I like fracking very much.
Like Hannibal Lecter?
They always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt. We're going to lower your taxes to insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack. Drill, there's a frack. She's a recipe to energy. You know she's going to pay. You know she's going to pay, kid. Up her there, she was against fracking, against all the stuff in it. All the stuff in it. All the stuff in it. Let's go. Everybody knew to Africa. When she was getting killed in the past, she said, I like fracking very much, but they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical. She can't help it. We're gonna end up and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna be drilling so deep. We're gonna be for these guys. We're gonna
gonna take back so much money. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal.
Hit it.
Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna frack, frack, frack. Drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Tell, baby, drill, we're gonna kill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Tell, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Hit it.
Tell, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal Lecter.
They do? They say,
why would you
mention Hannibal Lecter? Why would you do that?
We're gonna lower your taxes.
Oh.
Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say it.
The late
great
Hannibal.
Drill, 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 baby, drill, with a fat, fat.
Always gets me.
Baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, drill,
lower your taxes.
Deep insane asylums.
Hit it.
You know they go crazy.
Do it all again. Okay. Hey. Hey, hello. There you go. Hey, hey. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. What we gonna do? Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. So guess what? Tiny Tank Top, Jim, Tom, Snuggles, they ain't got no money. They broke. They could barely buy eggs. But what we gonna do is this. We're gonna pay off all your debt, and then what we're gonna do is this. Lower your taxes like you wouldn't believe, ladies and gentlemen, because we have so much liquid gold underneath our feet, and all we gotta do is drill, baby, drill to get to it, all right? And then after that, there'll be a little bit of that fracking, because we know you like that, all right? Nutty can't do it. No. And neither can Dr. Lex. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Take care. Stay safe. We